No, it's what you want if you start the Champions League season. You want to finish top 8 because that helps, of course, because you skip around and sometimes you can have a really hard team to play against in a round like that, which is shown by the teams you just mentioned. So we're happy that we are going straight away to the last 16, especially because it's only 2 years ago that we were playing Europa League and we went out in the quarterfinals against Atalanta. So 2 seasons in a row now, being in the last 16, and this season, as we were last season, we were very hungry for more. We will definitely be hungry for more this season as well. No, there was an obvious improvement, but with all the respect for the team we faced tonight, I expect Newcastle to be a stronger side than Qarabag, although Qarabag showed this season that they've been a very good team. But still, we hardly conceded anything. There weren't 6, 7 or 8 minutes that the other team were better than us, and that's the maximum usually in our games. The other team is better than us, and then we always concede. But today we made sure there were no minutes that the other team were better than us. And that always helps, and I think set pieces played a vital role in our Champions League campaign till now, and tonight again, because the 1-0 was a set piece and the 3-0 was a set piece. And that gives a complete different look and feel to a game. Because all of a sudden you're 3-0 up, and then people are usually much more positive than a 1-0 lead. And so yeah, very positive about our game, very, very clinical in both boxes. Although after the 2-0, I think we had multiple chances to make it 3. But we hardly gave away a chance, and in the 92nd minutes you could see when they had maybe their first and only counter-attack of the second half, how much effort we put in to sprint back. Federico Chiesa, my number 9, was defending inside the 6-yard box. And I've also said many times, not many times, but I said recently, if we can improve in both boxes, it's going to be very hard for any team to play against us. But showing that once is not enough, we have to show this from now on constantly. Now, it's obvious that if a player goes out like that, you don't expect him to play Saturday against Newcastle. And maybe I can come back to something I said yesterday when I said that it might, I used the word might, but apparently not everybody is listening very properly to what I say, has helped us that we lost against Paris Saint-Germain. We were not happy. I wasn't happy losing against Paris Saint-Germain. I wanted to go all the way with that team. That team was strong enough to win the Champions League as well. And we were by far the best team in the league. So we completely deserved to win the league. But if you are the best team in the league, then you need those players available. And this season shows that if we have to play many games, sometimes you can get injuries as well. And that's what I meant. We did not face injuries after we went out against Paris Saint-Germain. And some people wanted to make my world even more ridiculous, saying that we were 15 points clear. Yes, we've been maybe in one moment 15 points clear, but most of the time we were 8 points clear. And if you then face a situation of 3, 4, 5 injuries, it might have been more difficult for us. But we were the best team in the league, and we could have won the Champions League as well, and we would have loved to go to the next round last season. But this club, it hits us harder if we have injuries than the clubs we are in competition with. And that was the point I was trying to make. But people picked it up in the wrong way, so maybe next time I should be a bit more clear with what I meant. So Jeremy is out, and let's see what the future brings. We as a club always make decisions, as we at least think smart decisions. So we not only look at the short term, we also look at the long term, longer term. That's why we sign young players as well. Very good players, but young ones that can still develop. Now we can see this development with a few. And it always depends on are there players available that we think can help us, and if they are, can we afford them? And does this also be helpful for the longer term future, because our players come back from injury as well. And I just said that we don't have a squad where we have 4 right backs and 12 midfielders and 3 or 4 number 9s. That's not how it works over here. So we have to do the smart things for the near future, but also for the longer future. And let's first see how Jeremy is. Maybe he's not able to play Saturday, but maybe he's able to play 1 or 2 days later. And we now go into a schedule with 1 game a week. So that would usually mean less injuries, but you're never sure. I didn't mention the noise. People asked me about the noise, and then I reacted on the noise, which is completely normal. That there should be noise if you are 6th in the league with Liverpool, because that's not what we aim for when the season starts. That there are also reasons why we struggle. That's not even interesting, because we should do better. And so I think it's fair for everyone to have his opinion, and probably I agree with most of those opinions. But today has shown again that sometimes things are maybe a bit more complicated than people think. So Jeremy is a great example of that. I think I got a question from one of you who was sitting over there. Could you understand that fans were a bit annoyed that you took Jeremy Frimpong off at Bournemouth? Now maybe these same fans should have a different opinion with their opinion, because even with resting him, he got injured. And I think he was sitting here the day before the game telling you, all of you, how big of a difference the Bundesliga is to the Premier League. So these are the things I have to take into account. And apparently I've played him too much recently for this to happen again. And that's really sad for him, but definitely also for us, because our other fullback is out for the whole season. But we will find a way again. As you saw today, the way is usually as attacking as possible, and that's what we did today with players in positions the way you don't expect them. 1.5 years ago he was an attacking midfielder, now he plays as a right centre back. Curtis was sick, so we have to wait and see how that evolves. Joe might be tight, but hoping and expecting to have Ibu back. But I cannot guarantee this yet, but we're hoping that Ibu will be back with us and Joe will be tight. Positive, as we're used to from Wata. You gave him a job and he's doing it with all he's got. And today he did really well. What you lack a little bit if you play him over there, you don't have as many overlaps or 1v1 quality as maybe Jeremy Frimpong has. But what he does is so decent and concentrated and focused. The good thing, of course, was also today that we were only attacking. That's helpful if you have only attacking players on the pitch. So the real test is, of course, for our last line, if we have to play with the same one again, if you face Newcastle and Manchester City, which I rate a bit above Qarabag. But for tonight, of course, it's nice that if you play with such an offensive lineup, that you are able to have so much ball possession and score so many goals and hardly give away anything.
So just a quick one. Is there any initial idea of the nature of Jeremy's injury?
It's a muscle injury, but I don't know how long that's going to take.
Knee or anything more specific?
Sorry?
Hamstring, knee,
a muscle, so that's not a knee. And a muscle is usually has to do with overloading a player. So not always, of course, because he's stretched in the moment, but it is the risk. That's why I took Hugo and Florian off tonight as well, because those are the players that are not as much used than Maka or Dom, who are playing already longer at these both levels. Nah, I don't follow all of it, but sometimes you hear certain things. I think I've always tried to be myself as long as I'm a manager now, and what I usually do is give long answers and try to explain in the best possible way what I mean in a different language, but I think I'm quite okay in English. Maybe not as perfect as in my own language, but if you give long answers, then and maybe you miss a certain word in some answers, then people haven't start to get an opinion about it. But I'm not going to change. I'm not going to say yes or no only. This is who I am. And then you also have to accept in this business, in my position, that people have opinions about you. And that's completely normal. And I don't mind. But I try to explain as best as possible to everyone what I can explain, because I cannot always say everything. I have to protect as much as I can always everyone involved in these football clubs, goes from ownerships to the players. But yeah, if you have long answers, then sometimes people can have opinions about that as well.